Hello, Wesley Mission family, and greetings from lockdown Sydney, and more specifically for me from work from home Roseville on the North Shore. My name is Stu Cameron. I'm the CEO and Superintendent for Wesley Mission, and it's my privilege to join you today following on from my friend and colleague, our Senior Minister, Rick Dacey, who shared with you so beautifully yesterday. What a crazy, confusing week it's been as we find ourselves here in our city, but also in our nation, dealing with multiple different COVID outbreaks and the lockdown limitations that seem to inevitably follow. And, in the midst of all of this, the whole work from home thing, I've had the opportunity and the necessity to visit a couple of our services. And one of those that I visited earlier this week was the Edward Eger Centre, which is located in inner Sydney in Surrey Hills, and since 1979 has been providing crisis accommodation for people struggling with homelessness. And as it happens, over the last year, we have been refurbishing the Edward Eger Centre, and it actually reopened only 10 days ago. And so over the last week or so, we've been taking in 40 guests who have been accommodated there, and it's now full. And when I visited early this week, I had a conversation with Rob, who leads that service, and he was sharing with me a story of one of our guests. When he was shown his room, he recalled afterwards to Rob that when he saw his room, which includes an ensuite bathroom, which is a significant upgrade for the centre, he burst into tears. And he explained to Rob that I never thought I would be able to have the opportunity to sleep in somewhere this nice again. And when Rob told me that story, I was reminded of the privilege that I enjoy and so many of us enjoy, in that we do have a safe place to sleep. We have a warm place to sleep. We have clothes on our back. We have food on our table. We have warmth to enjoy on these cold winter nights. And I was reminded also of the privilege that we at Wesley Mission have to serve the people we do serve and empower and equip in the many ways that we do. Shelter is a basic human necessity. And shelter comes primarily, of course, in its physical form. And it's one of the basic necessities of life, that housing is so necessary. Safe and secure housing is such a basic necessity to a flourishing life. But I was also thinking about the nature of spiritual shelter as well. And you might have had this experience, as I have over the last year from time to time, of feeling a little bit displaced, spiritually displaced, if you like, by the circumstances we find ourselves in, a bit disorientated, not knowing where you particularly belong in these dizzying, changing circumstances we find ourselves in. And I was reminded when I thought of that, and you might have experienced that over this last week, I was reminded of the words of the psalmist David, who found himself in really challenging circumstances again and again through his life, including many times where he found himself alone or fleeing to the desert. And he wrote one of these desert psalms. It's Psalm 63. And Psalm 63 verse 7, written from a desert experience, David says this. He's speaking of God. "Because you are my help, I sing in the shadow of your wings." Because you are my help, I sing in the shadow of your wings. And David's words remind me that in and through all circumstances, I can find shelter. I can find shelter in God's presence. No matter whether I'm on a mountaintop or in a valley, no matter whether my life is filled with joy or filled with despair, I can find shelter in God's presence. So that's my prayer for you today, that you would find shelter in God's presence, no matter where you find yourself. And no matter what emotions you're experiencing in this season. Now, here at Wesley Mission, we are here for you. And if there's anything we can do to support you or a loved one, please contact us at the email address that's on the screen now, christianlife@wesleymission.org.au, and we would love to connect with you and reach out to you and support you or a loved one in any way. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below about how you're experiencing the shelter of God in this season, the provision of God in this season. Let's have a conversation about that. But know that we are praying for you. We're here to support you in any way. God bless you, and we look forward to sharing with you more over coming.